no fear. This is what happens when you leave an Ultramarine alive. This is how it comes back to reward you. The visitation of death in the form of a gold and cobalt blue storm. I cannot lie, these are some strong lines. I mean, it brought me to today's build. A veteran of the Long War, the vengeance of Calth, a word-bearer hunter. To start this Marine, I first transform one of his weapons into another one. The hammer had to be converted into a spear. I cut away the cable so I was able to saw off the hammerhead, which always hurts me since this is such a nice weapon. To avoid bending the hammer too much, I used my small hobby saw for this. And once it was off, I cleaned the cutted edge with my hobby knife. Don't worry about my fingers, I play guitar, there's a lot of natural protection there. I poked a hole into the middle of this now power arm so I could drill right in there. I also repeated that process on this Ultramarine's Gladius. Both of them are a little bit off-center, the Gladius very much so, but that's not really a problem, they still match. First let me remove this lime green paint from my fingernail. There we go, professional YouTubing and such. I used a small metal wire to pin these two parts together, which is really satisfying by the way. And now to one of the focus points of this miniature, his shield. I used the Stormcast Eternus Annihilator's one because I think these small lightnings really fit the Horus Heresy aesthetic. But cutting away the Sigma symbol wasn't that easy because my knife couldn't get a grip on it, so I used a little bit of patience and a sanding sponge. I secured it into my helping hands and rolled a small sausage of green stuff so I could sculpt an upside down Omega symbol. I am not the biggest sculptor yet, but not trying is not an option for me. A member of my Discord said, "We all fell upwards," and that's absolutely true in my opinion. I used my knife to give it a little bit of a sharper edge and took my time to refine it. I genuinely don't care if it looks a little rough. I mean, this dude probably deflected a lot of attacks with this thing. And when I called it, let's say, good enough, it was time to get the base done. Just using some tightest basing bits and that one from the Saturnine armor itself. The idea is to have him stand on top of a fallen word-bearer, so there had to be a little more room. Filling out the gaps and going on with his torso and shoulders. Arguably the most defining part of the Saturnine armor, and obviously I had to do something different with it. But the new Defiler, lovely as it is, comes with two sets of these things, and they fit so incredibly well on top of the Saturnine armor that one could argue it is just there for giving them this more or less historical look. I personally think it looks really ancient Rome-like. Just a little bit of green stuff to fill out the gaps, and that's basically it. It sits very flush by its own. And I really have to say I like this look. To be able to Warhammerize this miniature, I cut away the small knob here, as I somehow always do, so I could place the backpack icon of one of Titus's members on top of it. And I guess here's a little more room to encourage you to leave a like, a subscription, comment or a hype for the hype god, so this content gets pushed to like-minded people. And because I always have the need to do something grand, wings. I mean, I had the Sanguinor a couple of weeks ago, so let's salvage these amazing ones and give them to an Ultramarine. These two, whatever these are, work as a perfect anchor point for them. Just a little bit of super glue and green stuff and we're good to go. I really need to make myself sprue glue for things like this. Is it necessary? No. But is it cool? Yes. And the rule of cool is always the most important part for me. Just some tiny adjustments and they are good to go. I glued on his legs, giving him this very heroic stance. When the legs were attached, it was time for his belt buckle. Or maybe a little bit more fitting, this cingulum militare. Once it was on, I secured the miniature on the base, leaving room for a foot and his opponent. I used the front part of a Chaos Space Marine's torso and cut it flat, so I could place it underneath his leg, but a foot was still missing, that followed quickly. I'm not really sure why I did it this way, I felt like this would lead to a more realistic foot position. Like he is holding him down or something. Oh, and we have 3 new channel members here. Lord Mooseman, Loopy, welcome back by the way, and Lickleboy99. Thank you guys for the support, it's greatly appreciated. After that I cut away one side of a Legionnaires' head to have it lay flat on that base, like he was stomped into the ground. I also gave this unfortunate one arm from an Emperor's Children because I didn't find another one which is holding a bolter in one hand. The next step was to glue on both of his arms, and here I thought about the very wise words of Benecrafts. I tend to have dynamic poses everywhere and thought I let this one just rest, standing there menacingly and not really in a battle stance. And of course giving him his shield. I think it turned out okayish, with a lot of fantasy you can even read the Ultramarine symbol in there. But to make it fit I had to cut away the back of his power fist. By the way, are these guys always equipped with power fists? Never thought of that. Anyway, I had to cut the back of it flat to make room for the shield. Which led me to my second bad sculpting attempt, giving it a leather-like strap to hold it. And once that's set in place, it was time to give him his shoulders. The real ones this time. And speaking of shoulders, I want to thank my amazing patrons and channel members who shoulder this channel here. Oh my god, that was a bad transition, right? That felt incredibly forced. Let's quickly forget that before I cringe as well. A head was still missing here. But I'm not sure if I keep this one here. If you see this miniature with another head at some point, I changed it. This miniature obviously needed another shield on his chest for future iconography, so I applied one. I don't know why I ended that sentence here. And I also felt like this miniature needed more leather work, so I glued on some more just under his big shoulders. Painting wise, I wanted to lean more towards the Horus Heresy style, and if you want to see the full painting video you have to wait 2 or 3 days, as I will upload these a little later and not in a 3-minute compressed part, but in a 10-minute long video. I wanted to try something new here since these painting sections tend to be clicked away according to the YouTube analytics, which is ruining the general watch time of a video. So I thought about a separation here, as I can see these two being 2 different topics in one video, even if everybody else is doing it as well, but doing things different is one of my keystones, I guess. And by the way, I'm not mad about this, I rarely watch these painting sections as well, so I can fully relate to this. It is also absolutely understandable since we all have different painting styles, so no hard feelings. This is just me trying to optimize this channel, you know I'm not that long into this game, so I still have to figure out what sticks and what doesn't. And on the other hand, there are about 30% who still like to watch these parts, and I cannot let you people down and go to sleep that night feeling good about my decisions. So I hope you also look forward to full-on painting videos coming out midweek from now on. They will be the ones with the white thumbnails, just so there's no confusion there. So from now on it's black thumbnails for the kit bashes and white ones for the painting videos. I see this channel here as an art and inspiration channel, even if it's mainly Warhammer themed, but I slowly dip my toes into other miniature companies in the background, slowly sprinkling them into this channel here. But enough news, enough changes. Thank you for listening. Here are some cool things the people on my Discord server have created, and after that, the reveal. So what do you think about this build? I would love to give this one of these Victrix Honor Guard helmets, but I had nothing like this laying around. Maybe in the future. I know, it sometimes feels like the Ultramarines get the most attention of all of the factions, and it's borderline rage baiting sometimes. But I guess sometimes it's rightfully earned. They can be cool. But I'm not here to sell you these guys. Trust me, look at the channel name. I also would have to convince myself first. But on the other hand, No Fear was a really cool book. It inspired me to build this one here and it shifted my perspective ever so slightly, appreciating these guys. But in the end, chaos still reigns supreme and it always will. And with that said, thank you for watching, don't forget to leave a like, and if you like to support this channel, feel free to check out my Patreon or the YouTube membership. Regardless, we are going to see each other in the next one! So let's salvage these amazing...